Guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over the new champion, Tahm Kench. So Tahm Kench himself is a 4-mana 2/6 that states, round start, create an acquired taste in hand. And his level up is, I've captured 3+ units. When I level up, obliterate my captured enemies and release my captured allies. And he does that each time he attacks once he's leveled up. And his acquired taste card is a 2-mana slow speed spell. Tahm Kench swallows an enemy unit. It strikes him, then he captures it. So it counts for his capture level up, but it also deals damage to the enemy's power equal to its health. So you can be picky about this. You can choose the low power units to try to level up Tahm Kench, or you can choose the high power units and let higher power units upwards of 5 and take Tahm Kench down to 1 health if you think you can level him up and obliterate them before your opponent has a chance to kill Tahm Kench. The idea with Tahm Kench generally is going to be you're trying to capture units onto him, basically keeping your opponent from getting too much board presence if they're a mid-range deck or an aggro deck. And if they're a control deck, you're usually going to be playing for a different win condition, or just because Tahm Kench isn't really going to be doing much in that situation. But in general, you're going to use Tahm Kench's acquired taste to be capturing units with him. You're going to use that once or twice before you level him up. Once he's leveled up, you just get free value with cards like Tahm Kench's Bayou Brunch. The Brunch itself is a 3-mana slow speed spell. An ally captures another ally and gains the stats of the captured ally. And of course, it's also his champion spell, so you can have 3 copies of this in your deck, and then you can also have the additional champion version. The card is very powerful because it means Tahm Kench captures a unit, but he gains stats this time instead of losing them. And when he levels up, he actually resummons the ally you captured. So it's going to help you level up Tahm Kench without killing him with the acquired taste cards. It's going to make him very beefy. And then you also get any summon effects that the card you stole or captured with Tahm Kench, you get that back once he releases it. So you've actually lost no value. And once you bring back the ally with Tahm Kench, you get any summon effects it had, which is very unique, very cool. I definitely think that this card is going to be very nice. The acquired taste can get rid of big units, make it really hard for your opponent to get much ground without killing Tahm Kench, and cards like Bayou Brunch can protect Tahm Kench. Now, if you want to go even further, you can play Freljord buff cards. You can play the Omen Hawks. You can play Starlight Seers. With the acquired taste, it gets at least 1 buff each turn on the top of the deck, right? That just seems pretty cool. And Tahm Kench is going to get big, and once you play him, once you get those spell effects, he's going to be very hard, the acquired taste effect, he's going to be very hard to kill, and he can level up pretty conveniently. Also, the Tahm Kench's Bayou Brunch will give him a buff equal to the unit you capture. So if you capture something that has gotten the Omen Hawk buff, he gets the extra buff. Now, keep in mind that once you resummon it after Tahm Kench levels up, it's no longer going to have the buff. But if it's a card that gives buffs, like Omen Hawk, or just some effect like that gives buffs, it's going to happen again. So that's pretty convenient, super nice if you think about long-term value, and especially what a Freljord Bilgewater deck would want to do. This seems like a very interesting take on a new champion for Bilgewater, whether or not you're playing mid-range or control. It's going to be super cool. I think the Bayou Brunch is very valuable. You're going to have to play 3 of these and even try to draw into them, because just the fact that it gives Tahm Kench an extra level up, especially when your opponent might not have units that you can take with Tahm Kench, just because they're going to have too much attack, or they're just going to not have any units, although they'd probably be losing anyway, right? But it allows you to buff Tahm Kench and steal a unit that you're going to get back. In the long term, that seems like a pretty good trade. Now, you do have to protect Tahm Kench to make sure that doesn't happen. So another consideration might be Targon. Targon can give him buffs with cards like Mentor. It can heal him with the gems. And, of course, it can give him protection with the Spell Shield, a Bastion. And that could just be super powerful for a control deck, especially when you have Aurelian Soul as a possible top end. It just seems like Tahm Kench is going to have a very nice home in a lot of decks. Being able to capture things is a very unique ability that we haven't seen played enough. I think. And this is going to be a super interesting way to see how we can incorporate that into a deck. The last two cards that we got are Wise Fry, firstly, and then Shakedown. So Wise Fry is a 6 mana 3/8 with Overwhelm and Vulnerable that states play, deal 1 damage to all other allies, and grant me +1 for each of them. So at most, this guy can get 5 attack, going to a 6 mana 8/8 Overwhelm Vulnerable. The Vulnerable is not going to matter too often. It can matter in certain situations. I'm having a hard time thinking of any, but the self-damage theme, again, is prevalent here. Tahm Kench doesn't fit that theme, so it seems like they're trying to give a place for Vladimir in Bilgewater. I'm surprised that Tahm Kench didn't work with this, although I'm super happy about what Tahm Kench looks like right now. The fact that he doesn't do a self-damage theme seems really interesting, because now we have all these self-damage cards and only one home for them, which is Vladimir. I can't think of another reason why you'd play any of the self-damage cards. Well, actually, let me take that back. Some of the self-damage cards are actually pretty powerful, especially when combined with heal cards. But Wise Fry is unique in the fact that he deals damage to everything else in a way that helps Vladimir level up very fast, in a way that makes him get extra attack and become a better finisher, but in a way that doesn't work with healing very well and is a weird top end that Targon doesn't want. So he's only really going to be played with Vladimir, and even that, he's going to have to compete with Scar Mother. We choose to go down the Bilgewater route, which can definitely turbo out Vladimir faster than its Freljord comparison. Freljord does have a better top end with cards like Scar Mother because of that. Because of Scar Mother, I mean, they have better top ends. They have better ways to close out the game. Wise Fry can't compete with War Mothers because War Mothers can grow exponentially large. Wise Fry cannot. So in certain hands where you're playing more aggressively, like the Bilgewater version probably will, because it wants to end the game pretty quickly, it's trying to turbo Vladimir. Wise Fry might just be a better top end, but compared to Scar Mother, it's going to have a harder time in a more grindy metas where turboing out of Vladimir isn't going to win you the game. And it's going to have to be a very interesting deck. I'm definitely excited to see how good Wise Fry is, but I definitely think that's the only real home for it. And I'm definitely going to try and see how well we can make it work. The last card we have is Shakedown, a 1-mana burst speed. Deal 2 to an ally and grant 2 enemies vulnerable. So I can't think of a reason why dealing damage to your own allies would matter except when you're in a self-kill deck or when you are in a Vladimir self-damage theme or even a healing theme in some cases, but I doubt this would fit in that type of strategy. Again, Vladimir can probably benefit from this in some way. I'm not sure. I mean, Vladimir gets regen, right, after he's leveled up. So the vulnerable could matter there. He could take some things out if the game goes on a little bit longer. But I doubt you're taking up a slot for the Shakedown when you could be playing something else. Now, Shakedown also seems pretty good in a self-kill deck. Mainly the Undying, because the Undying wants to die, so you can kill it with the self-damage. At least the first one. And then the two vulnerable targets means that you can force the Undying to kill itself, or you can kill something with the Undying because of the vulnerable on your opponent's units. And that can be pretty powerful whether or not the Undying is dying to the self-damage, right? Dealing 2 only kills the first level up. Or it can help you kill it once it's been damaged by something like a chump blocker. So I definitely think Shakedown has a little bit of flexibility and maybe a home in that deck, but there are a lot of other options for the Undying, and the Undying hasn't seen play very recently. So I'm not sure if this will change anything, make it better, just not hit the board at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And that is it for today's spoilers, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Tahm Kench looks super cool, and I can't wait to try him out. And with that, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one.